He couldn't believe the massive creature was in the middle of the road stomping. Because they blended into the night, they were dangerous. They concealed themselves well. Why were these horrific creatures here during the day? As he approached, something seemed off. He had to act quickly. The highway was chaos that day as traffic increased by the minute. State Trooper Thomas Owens was in back-to-back traffic when car horns started blaring and people lost their cool. He approached because something was wrong. He saw a shadowy figure in the bushes. Thomas loved everything about cars as a child. He loved car shows and news chases. He turned on the TV every day after school to see a police chase, even though he never knew how it would end. Most police chases ended in justice, but some ended in tragedy. Law enforcement usually caught criminals in time, restoring community safety. Thomas' mother worried about him enjoying watching such fast criminals. She was right. Thomas was overjoyed to get his license. He aced his driving test on his 16th birthday. If you like my videos, don't forget to like or subscribe. Thanks in advance. His mom had to wrestle the car keys from him. She couldn't imagine her son becoming a dangerous driver and being hurt. Thomas, a young boy, was responsible. Thomas, it's small. His mother warned him, if we smell recklessness, the truck is gone. Thomas knew the road was dangerous, but he never expected a loved one to die. Thomas loved driving around his neighborhood and would pick up his friends from school and drop them off at home. Keeping his mother's promise, he stayed safe. One day, his mother's car wasn't in the driveway when he got home. He shivered instantly. After several calls, he discovered the truth. A hit-and-run hospitalized his mother. This shocked him. His life was changed by that event. He decided his future. Thomas had a plan after high school. He wanted to stay in state while his friends went out of state to college. His family and friends were unsurprised by his decision to become a state trooper. Thomas stopped driving fast after his mother's accident and years on the road. He had no idea he would encounter something on the road that he could never have prepared for in all his training or life experience. Thomas was an excellent state trooper, but even with all his training, he never imagined encountering something like that day. He had no idea what was ahead as he gripped the wheel in bumper-to-bumper traffic. He still felt something was wrong. Thomas' first thought was that someone's car had broken down or had a fender bender ahead, causing the road delays. As he approached, he felt terrible. He saw something terrifying and once in a lifetime. He recognized the huge, shaggy road figure as a dangerous bear. Thomas could only shout at people to return to safety as they got out of their cars to investigate. Nobody listened. Thomas grew up next to 700-acre Bretton Woods. The area was protected because it has 200 bird species. The biggest animal in the woods was about to attack Thomas. These black bears were often seen in the woods, but they rarely bothered anyone in the suburbs. Everyone knew these animals were dangerous. Despite his extensive training, Thomas was unprepared for what was to come. State troopers were trained to handle dangerous animals, but meeting one in person is a different story. The largest bear Thomas had ever seen stood in the road, towering over the cars. But why? These animals hid in the woods and avoided bears. However, a massive black bear was causing havoc. Thomas shouted to stay put, but something nagged him. Why was this bear facing traffic? Thomas exited his car and approached the bear to assess the situation. Thomas was not told to stay in his car. He was walking toward one of the most feared wild animals. The bear seemed stuck. Despite the cars and noise, it kept pacing. Thomas ordered everyone to turn around and return to give the bear space. Thomas didn't know the bear's issue. Cars turned around, allowing Thomas to approach and look. He summoned all his courage and kept approaching. Seeing it then, he understood why this bear didn't fear humans. She had something more important. Protect. Thomas saw for smaller black shapes, indicating the big black bear was not alone. 3 of the 4 cubs walked beside their mother. One cub was sitting in traffic a few feet away. Thomas saw that the young bears wobbled as they walked, but they could walk on their own. The little bear resting in the road seemed exhausted. The huge mother bear did something unexpected. Thomas had never seen a bear with 3 cubs, let alone 4. Can a mother bear leave her cub on the road? He watched as the stranded cub's mother nudged it with her nose. The cub remained immobile. The mother bear tried to guide the little bear for minutes, but something was wrong. When the little bear couldn't get up, the mama bear knew she had to leave him. Thomas was astonished. He had to help the cub once the mama bear was gone. Thomas ran to help the cub move after the mama bear disappeared into the tree line. It wouldn't and was getting worse. The cub's eyes closed, indicating extreme exhaustion or illness. Thomas grabbed the animal and ran to his squad car to save it. Thomas contemplated his experience on the way to the New Hampshire Fish and Game Center. Why would a mother bear abandon her baby? He only hoped he wasn't too late. He knew time was running out as the cub weakened in his arms. Thomas later learned why the mother bear abandoned her sick cub. Staying with him on the road would have endangered the rest of the litter. Though that didn't justify abandoning her cub, it made sense. She couldn't risk her family. Thomas and the rescued cub made headlines, but officials shocked him. Abandoned babies were common. The other officers recognized that mother bear. She originally had 5 cubs. Thomas understood his role. Thomas told the officers he had to find the other cub, so more state troopers and K9 units arrived. They found the other poor cub quickly thanks to a lucky break. It crossed near its mother. The 5th cub, also sick, was found. At the vet, the experts knew exactly what to do. The baby was medicated and rehydrated within 4 and placed on a heated pad with his brother. After the cubs were healthy, everyone wondered what to do. Bottle feeding was unsustainable. Thomas's help saved the sick and orphan bear cubs in the wild. Andy Blue, campus director of San Diego Humane Society's Ramona Wildlife Center, said that cubs usually stay with their mothers for 2 years. Andy continued, cubs can be weaned at 6 to 8 months but remain with their mother to hunt and forage. He said young cubs this size can be preyed on by other bears, mountain lions, coyotes, and other predators without their mother. Thomas was lucky. New Hampshire has only American black bears. Though omnivorous, they eat mostly plants. Statewide, 805,000 black bears live. Black bears weigh 600 pounds as adults despite being medium-sized. These cubs were severely underweight. New Hampshire bear cubs are born in February. They should weigh 30 pounds by 6 months. The Wildlife Center staff suspects trauma, illness, or a large litter if a bear cub doesn't gain weight in this time. The 2 cubs arrived at 25 pounds and had a long road to recovery. Hookworms infested both cubs. After fluids and medication, the cubs recovered quickly. Their caregivers credit timely care and companionship. These 2 had each other to recover from stress and isolation, unlike most rescued animals. The New Hampshire Fish and Game Center hoped to reunite the cubs with their mother once they were strong enough. They grew from 25 pounds to 120 pounds in a year in captivity. Naturally, one person has monitored their progress daily. As soon as they could eat solid foods, the 2 young bear cubs were fed bear food, like dog food, fish, nuts, and fresh fruits and vegetables donated by local grocery stores and farmers. The center will fit them with radio collars and tags before releasing them. The Wildlife Center has minimized human contact with the cubs to improve their chances of survival when released into the wild. After quarantine and health checks, the bear cubs were moved to a larger outdoor enclosure. The Bear Cubs Wildlife Center pen had a tire swing, climbing trees and logs, and even a mini swimming pool, as well as food and companionship. Thomas promises to save any other helpless animals. The bear cub rescue changed his life. Thomas Owens never expected to see such a rare sight on duty or ever. It's strange to see 4 cubs together, but even stranger. to save 2 cubs. His bravery and quick thinking saved the 2 cubs. Thomas has dedicated himself to protecting all Carroll, New Hampshire residents, including 4-legged ones. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again in the next video.